God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairie to the ocean.
Welcome to the Watchdog Report. I'm your host, Ed Ciffone. And listen, today is December 26th. So I'm going to take my Christmas hat off. And listen, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And by the time you see the show, you'll have a new year coming up, 2014. It's incredible. So listen, my son gave me this. It says, "I'm too sexy for my hair. That's how come it isn't there." Now, I thought that was a riot. So I just keep the people updated. I'm off the treatments. My hair's coming back. I'm feeling a little better. So again, thank you for your prayers and your concerns and your letters. So let me introduce my guest, Matt Mazzamurro and his wife,
Araceli Mazzamurro.
Araceli Mazzamurro. Okay. Now, I work in the court in Yorktown, and I've been there for like 22 years. We have a lot of lawyers there. Matt's one of the lawyers. So Matt, just give us a little bio about yourself, where you were born, when you went to school, and how long you've been married and stuff.
Absolutely. Firstly, I want to thank you for having me today. I appreciate it very much. I've lived in Westchester County for my entire life. I'm married. I've been married for 3 years to Araceli Mazzamurro. We actually got married in Ed's court in 2010 on December 7th. And he was great. He made us feel secure and safe while we were getting married.
See, the only thing, I don't remember that, see. So I keep saying that I may have chemo brain, but I'll remember it the next time.
Yes.
It'll come back. Yeah, that's great. So that was 3 years ago. So what do you do? Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm not a lawyer. I help my husband at his office.
Oh, okay.
I can organize the files, I translate, I answer the phone, I do a lot of things.
Oh, it's a family business. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, where are you guys located?
We're located at 1011 Park Street in Peekskill. We've been there for about 14 years. When I first started, my mom helped me, and she worked with me, and then my father periodically would come and assist me, and Araceli's come in for the past 3 years and helped me tremendously.
Oh, that's great. It's a family thing, which works out
Yes.
really good. Now we're going to get into some of the things you do now as a lawyer. Well, you tell me first. What are some of the avenues of
Sure.
being a lawyer?
I do criminal law. I do DWI cases, family cases, real estate matters, evictions, purchasing and selling of homes, general practice.
All right, let's start with the criminal stuff. That's where
Sure.
you're in our court. Now, it's funny that it seems like New York State is really coming down hard on DWIs. Okay?
Absolutely.
So now I think they have two things. And that's a misdemeanor, right?
Yes.
Okay. But what's the other one that's above that now? Is one's DWI and one is if he goes too fast or
one is the aggravated DWI.
Aggravated DWI.
If
okay.
your blood alcohol is 0.18 or higher, you get charged with the aggravated DWI. And of course, now that they're very tough on the DWIs, there's a lot of felony DWIs.
Oh, and the felonies if you quit the second time within
Exactly.
10 years.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So but do they still, I don't see them reducing it that much to driving impaired.
Right.
So that's really a violation, right? So,
Right. A lot of it depends on the advocacy of the lawyer and also the facts and circumstances of the case. But a DWI nowadays is they're very stringent on those cases. While the case is pending, you're likely to have your license suspended.
Oh,
and
so we'll try.
what you have to do is you have to advocate for a hardship application, which would allow you to go solely from your work to your job. And you're not going to be able to drive any other times, and it's very hard on people.
And that usually takes a long time to get it settled, the case sometimes.
Oh,
right?
yeah, and then...
And how expensive is that? Because I stand in front, I cringe every time I hear the fines and the surcharges.
Well, the lawyer fee alone could be anywhere from like $3,000 to $5,000. The fees to go to counseling could be in the hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. The time that you have to go to court, of course, you're not working, so you're losing time in that respect. And as you mentioned, some of these cases could drag out for quite some time.
Wow. Yeah, it's something.
And then the fees.
The fees, yeah, because I'm trying to think, because I stand in front all the time. It's $400 fine or $500 fine and $400 surcharge.
Absolutely.
So that's $900 right off the bat. Then if they have to go to task, whoever it is, it's a training program to see how bad you are, if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. And then what's the other thing that for your car?
The ignition interlock.
It's a lock, yeah, and then they have to pay for that. But that's a monthly thing, right? Monthly,
Absolutely. It's
like $80, right? A month.
$80 a month.
Wow.
You have to have it installed. And if you happen to drive or you have to go somewhere and you just absentmindedly get in someone's car and drive it and you're stopped and you don't have an ignition interlock in your car, that's a separate crime.
Oh, that's another crime on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
See? And I know since August 26th, the New York State increased the surcharges.
Oh, sure.
So not only DWI, now you got a person that speeds once, they may reduce the to a parking ticket, but then one judge charges like $150 plus a surcharge. Again, it's $25. So it seems like they're more criminal, than the criminals. Now let's just tell the people how this works. Now, if a criminal comes into court and can't afford a lawyer,
yes,
he fills out a form.
Sure.
Okay? When you have a parking ticket, you don't do that. You do it on your own. You talk to the person. Okay? So now you get a free lawyer, and then he fights for your case, and you may get probation. You may not have to pay a thing. Then there's a civil judgment where you don't even have to pay it until. And I'm seeing these people that it's the first time that they ever got in trouble, with a ticket, a moving violation. It just gets me. And then one judge, he's in the 25 range to the 50. The other guy is 150 no matter what. So, and then when you realize how many cases you have and how much money comes into the town that goes into the general fund. So that's a whole other thing where they should be taking that money and paying for all of the department of the court with the money that they make. And it's amazing sometimes. They have maybe 100 or more people coming in. You see them all the time parking out there. So $150 a shot or wherever it is. And then now also if it's a moving violation, I think it went from 85 to 93. I don't know why you made it 93.
Yeah.
Now you have to have a couple of dollars, I guess, or the clerks have to have a change now to do it. So I don't know where the money goes anymore, if it goes to the state, if it comes into the town, or it all goes up to the state.
Yeah.
But these are all the new things, and I've been standing in front of people, for 22 years, and how it's changed, where the fine was lower than the surcharge. Not a surcharge. It's higher than the fine, right?
Sure.
So say you get a person who needs a lawyer.
Yep.
Now they have a list, or they call you. Okay. So what happens when you start off? You meet the
you
person?
meet the client.
Okay.
You review the paperwork. You review the accusatory. You speak to them about possible defenses, and you then try to investigate the case. And from there, after you do all those things, you then give your client an opinion about how the case should resolve itself. And then, either you decide to go to a trial or you enter a plea.
Oh, okay. No, that's right. You have a trial either with a jury or a 9 jury sometimes, right? You have that option. And the DA seems like it's pretty tough lately. They don't really really give anybody a break anymore. I don't know what's going on. But,
they're very tough,
right?
but we're in Yorktown. You're very fortunate to have 2 wonderful judges who are, you know, they have a good handle on things and they're very fair.
Oh,
but in you know, in some courts it's very, very tough. They don't want to hear any excuses. It's just law and order. So fortunate in the local areas. You know, some places upstate, the judge is like a second prosecutor.
Oh. So that's the other thing. You have to travel around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Travel around. We go, we have cases in Putnam, Dutchess, Orange, all over. We do like the
So do you get to ride one once in a while?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
I like to go.
Oh, that's good.
Aracella's been to. Tell them the courts you've been to.
A lot. Sleepy Hollow, Yorktown, Cortland, Panam Valley, Peekskill, of course, Mount Kisco, Bedford,
Wow. Oh, so
Asning, so a lot. Yeah.
oh, so you think of becoming a lawyer?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, you got
Yeah.
2 in the family. That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
it. So let's get on to another one. So let's see real estate.
Yeah.
Now, with the economy the way it is today, I don't know, people losing their homes or people are renting and not paying their stuff. So how does the economic turnover the way it is now affects your job and the people you represent?
It's affected me tremendously because in the 2000s, early 2000s, I was doing a lot of like house closings where people would, you know, buy and sell real estate, and the number of evictions I had were minimal. And then around 2006, 2007, the economy started to turn, and the home sales and purchases dwindled to next to nothing, but then the evictions spiked. And what's going on now is there's a tremendous amount of you know, people that aren't paying the rent. So landlords have to, jump into action, and they have to, hire a lawyer, and that's what I've been, do a lot of. No one wants to pay a lawyer. I understand that. But if you don't pay the lawyer, you're going to have a tenant who's going to live off you ad infinitum.
Right, right. Forever, because he knows you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But sometimes, so I asked you before, there's a monthly rental.
Yes.
And plus a lease.
Yep.
So tell me, is it harder to get people off the monthly rentals or the leases?
Okay. In my opinion, it's better, it's easier to get someone off as a month-to-month tenant. With a month-to-month tenant, if you don't want them to stay, you serve them with a 30-day notice, and then from there, you proceed to have them removed. If they have a lease, you're going to have to follow the guidelines according to the lease. So you're not going to just be able to just say, okay, I don't want to deal with you anymore. You're going to have to follow the lease, and now the tenant is going to use the lease against you. But in certain cases, you need a lease where you're depending on the Section 8. The Section 8,
Section 8
they're going to want a lease because they're paying for the people and they want to make sure they're there. And I understand that.
We're paying for the people.
We're paying, the taxpayers, yes,
I think
exactly.
they pay like 30%, right, of the rent, and then we pay the rest.
So in those circumstances, a lease, you're going to need it. But in other circumstances, I'm very hesitant to advise clients to have a lease.
So what happens if they get evicted?
Okay.
Can you call the marshals or New York State?
Yes, exactly. What happens is that you get a warrant and a judgment of eviction from the court, and then you provide it to the marshal. Then the marshal serves the people, and then from that time of service on the door, they have 72 hours to vacate.
Oh, okay. So at least you have something like that. That's good.
Yeah.
If they don't?
If they don't vacate, well, the marshal's got to put them out, and it's not a pleasant situation, but it happens.
Yeah. Well, at least it's good that they have a procedure to that effect, or those people just stay in there forever.
Oh.
And you couldn't get them out. And they must have kids, and then they destroy the property. And the landlord's not getting any money in because he couldn't rent it out. I know, it's a horrible thing.
It's all, yeah, and then the issue with the tenant doesn't pay the utilities, so then the utilities get shut off, and then you know, it could be a problem with the heat in the house if you have heat by electric, and pipes could burst.
Wow. So that's number two. Now, the thing is, if these people living together, husband and wife,
Sure.
then at a certain point, they get mad at each other.
Yes.
So that's the next thing.
Oh.
So how do you deal with this stuff with, you know, these marriage breakups and matrimonial?
We
matrimonials.
do a lot of matrimonial matters, which entails like separation, divorce, custody, family offenses. We handle those types of cases, and Araceli oftentimes, you know, helps me out, especially with the folks that are English as their second language, and she's very calm and she's very reassuring, because, you know, people, it's a very tough time in their lives. They're with someone who they loved and thought they were going to spend the rest of their life with, and it breaks up, and, you know, there's a legal aspect to it, and, you know, the cut and dry of, well, what is the marital property, what are the marital expenses, what is the access to the child going to be, but then there's also the kids. There's also that, you know, the emotions of, you know, having a family where there were good times. It wasn't always bad. And Araceli is very good in comforting people and talking to people and making them feel, you know, comfortable, because a lot of times in the fact of people feeling comfortable, they explain things, and a lot of times relevant facts are brought out, rather than, you know, when they see a lawyer, they get a little scared, like, oh, what if I tell the lawyer this, tell the lawyer, you know, they're very, they're not at their best. So when the people feel more calm, and, you know, that's what I've tried to have in the office, where people could feel rest assured to, you know, explain things to me and to Araceli. A lot of times very helpful information could come forward, and it ultimately benefits their case.
And where do you take their cases? In what's called family court down in White Plains, or is that what it's
Yes, family court.
Oh, so it's another court.
The family court, and then for the divorce actions, you go to the Supreme Court.
Oh, Supreme Court. Okay, wow.
And
And I know from experience, one lawyer in Yorktown had 2 or 3 of my same relatives. I'm going to the wedding today. It was, I don't even want to get into it, but it's a very long process. And the guy made a lot of money off my cousins, you know? And then just one with that, the wife had permission to live in the house. I just think about this, is they're divorcing, they don't talk to each other, you know, and she was allowed to live in the house during the process.
yeah,
That drove me crazy. And she was doing something with somebody else. And then,
Oh, wow.
and then living in a house, then she hooked up with a neighbor. So my poor cousin, I didn't kill her, you know?
okay.
But he had to keep changing the locks, because she would come in and she would say that, oh, he tried this on her and stuff. But over like 5 years. And then the end result was she must have took a lot of his thing. But anyway,
But that's
it just seems that the lawyer made out the best, you know, over that time period. So,
But like what you mentioned is how offshoot actions occur. You have a husband and wife, and you feel one of the parties feels that they're getting the short end of the stick. They allegedly maybe make a phone call or maybe push somebody, and then you go to criminal court. So it's like you get a divorce case that could spill over into a criminal case, then it possibly could even spill over to a personal injury case if someone attacks somebody.
okay. That's
So-
what the order of protection says.
Yeah.
They have, and they violate that. You know, it's so sad to me that the family was together, you had your kids, you could visit them. All of a sudden now, you can't visit the kids.
Right.
Then you can't call the kids. Then you can't do it. And then the guy goes crazy. And then he goes to the violent thing, you know, what that association is down there for anger management. Yeah, anger management. So you see, and then, you know, I have to keep the peace in the court, so I have to keep them separated.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just sad. And then eventually, the wife says, drop all the charges on someone,
Yes.
right? So that makes it good. So maybe she did a good job in that case. But it's really sad because it affects the grown-ups, it affects the kids, it affects everything. So, but that's another one. So that must be tough to deal with.
Oh, yeah. And that,
Did they ever agree to go back to each other?
oh, sure.
Oh, you
Yes,
did? Oh, yeah. Oh, so
yeah.
that's good.
Sometimes happens.
That's a positive note.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, sometimes you have cases where they marry and then they get a divorce and then they end up back together.
Oh, remarry again.
Yeah.
And
We had that in the court. The same people getting remarried with the same names that they carry. I was scratching my head, you know, what is going on with this? Reconcile and they get married. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then there for a while, I forget when it was, but foreign people, if you married an American, you got your citizenship,
Yes.
right? Okay. So the judge would say the thing in English, but the guy or the woman couldn't understand it, so they had to translate it.
Oh, my gosh.
And then, I forget, it was like 2 years ago, there was a certain time limit that you could only do it to that time, right? I think it's gone already, but
think so.
but they were coming left and right, you know, so it was really funny.
And then another thing that's recently arisen is that you have folks to gain status in the country, they can make if they make an allegation they're an abused spouse, that's a pathway to citizenship. If there's a
She's away, you know.
so there's angles, and you know that's the part, that's what you hire a lawyer for, is that you have a criminal case and there's an allegation of an assault, allegation of threats, and you go through the facts very thoroughly, and then you find out, oh, maybe the wife is not legal in the country, so she's making this allegation of violence against the husband
In order to stay.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I don't know, when I was a police officer, there was all these people that were illegal. And the best case was, this is a short story, but we raided a pool hall. It was 18 guys that were all illegal, okay? Now we had 3 police cars. They were in the police cars and in between the police cars until we got them into jail. So this one guy says, listen, just take my name and address and let me go. I says, get in there, right? That was the time the Iranians had the
Oh, wow.
the prisoners, you know, the hostages. And he called him, he said, just take their name and let them go. Because we're only looking for Iranians. You know, we had all these 18 guys, and then you hope that they went out of the country. You arrested some people, they got arrested and went out of the country. And then 3 weeks later, they were back in. So that used to drive me crazy. And some of those people were rapists, you know, assaulting people and all that stuff. And a lot, I don't know, I'm talking too much, but again, these people are not allowed in the country. They were on welfare. So they have their own card. So you call it welfare. Well, how do you think I'm going to keep my job? How am I going to keep your job? I got a legal guy here. He's on welfare. Yeah, you just hang up the phone. But anyway, that's some of the stuff. But yeah, working with lawyers is great. Everybody has a different personality.
Yeah.
And a different way of doing their cases. And what other cases do we go through?
I do like wills, estates. We do healthcare proxies. All that stuff is real important, because if you don't leave a directive, and God forbid you're injured or you're not able to respond, you're going to be put on a machine for ad infinitum. So if you have your healthcare proxy, your living will, your relatives or the hospital will know what to do with, in case of that type of situation. And what I advise is that if you have that, you have the person who handles it have a copy of it, as well as the local hospitals, because from what I've read, most accidents that occur that are very, very serious occur around the home and the nearby area. So I advise the clients to then take the healthcare proxies and put it with your doctor or the local hospital, so that if you're rushed there, they'll have it on file. Okay, this is what we do. Otherwise, no one will know, and you could go.
Yeah, I see one on TV. It was another heartbreaker.
The Terri Schiavo, that was a big one.
With the baby she's pregnant,
Oh.
18 months in Texas, and they want to take her off life support. But the law says, because she's pregnant, she can't take her off. So here's the husband dealing with this, and I don't know what's going to happen to the baby if it's born, you know, after 9 months there. But that's incredible. But you see more and more of these cases and stuff. It's a shame. But listen, it must be hard for you because you got to get emotionally involved.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
You know, so that's where you come in.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. So he goes, talk to her.
Yes.
That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Araceli, like a lot of times, like say I'm in court and Araceli's there and the people run up to the office and then Araceli, why don't you tell Ed, like the times, you know, people come up and the questions they have for you?
Yes, many times the clients come in and my husband is in court, so I take the information. The question is if it's a criminal case like assault or something, they worry about, am I going to jail? What's going to happen? I don't have any money to pay the lawyer, but I want to stay in this country, especially the immigrants, you know. Right. So it's kind of tough, you know. It's just very.
Well, each case has an individual.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something. But I see now, if you catch a guy driving without a license,
sure, he
gets a fine, and he goes home. He gets in his car, he comes back again.
Well, we hope he doesn't get in his car.
That's what they do, you know. And about 3 years later, you see the same guy driving without a license, you know, 75. I'm going, but how long is this guy driving?
But you know what? It's tough. It is tough to live in this area without a car.
Without a car,
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
But Araceli, I should have mentioned it earlier. Araceli came to the United States from Guatemala in 2009.
Yes.
And I speak Spanish, so I was able to communicate with her in Spanish. But in the 4 years that she's been here, she's gone to school. She's
yes.
you know,
Now
able to
I'm in
communicate.
college.
Okay.
So I took my first semester in the Westchester Community College.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah.
So what are you taking up?
Now I take general courses.
General courses now.
But,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's good because most kids, that's what they should really do, to go to the community college first, because you can take those credits and move on to the bigger schools.
Yes.
At least you're local. You're not paying all the extreme amount of
absolutely
cost for it. It's incredible how much everything is.
Oh.
But see, I keep going back to taxes and stuff because every time I think about, you know, what a teacher is making, you know, and then with the benefits they're making.
Sure.
Yes.
And then if you go to the administrators, what they're making, with the benefits they're making, it's pretty crazy. All right, so listen, Matt, there's a minute to go. You look at camera 3.
Okay.
Tell them who you are, again, where you're located, and what you do.
Sure. My name is Matt Mazzamurro. I'm at 1011 Park Street, Suite 6, Peekskill, New York, 10566. My number is 914-736-3074. I have a general practice law firm. I do the criminal, family, traffic, DWI, divorce, and the like. And thank you for having me.
Well, listen, it was great to see you. And listen, young lady, thank you for coming. And I hope you have many other years together.
Thank you.
Yeah, we in March we got 48.
Wow.
That's a long time, eh?
That is a long time.
But we didn't agree on anything, so that's another story. So it's probably right now it'd be too expensive to go to a divorce. It's better just to live it out. You know, that's it. Yes. Well, folks, I want to thank Matt and his wife here today. And if you have one of those type of cases or you want information, please give them a call. Again, our show is on Saturdays at 9 o'clock in the morning on Channel 74, Monday nights at 9:30, and Wednesdays at 4:30. And on Channel 15 in Peekskill, which I'll put this on, is Sunday at 8 o'clock at night. So thanks for watching, and thanks again for all your concerns. Good night.